My name is David Ha, and I'm an outbound product manager here at ServiceNow. So for today's webinar, we'll be covering a quick overview of our mobile platform's offering as of Quebec, and we'll do a deep dive on some of the feature highlights as well. With all of that said, let's go ahead and get started. So we've come a long way since our transition to the new mobile apps, starting in Madrid about a couple years ago. And in case you aren't familiar, we had a legacy app called the ServiceNow Mobile Classic app, which is on the verge of being deprecated. And you can think of it really as an extension of the desktop experience, although it could solve some of the things that you need to do on a phone, like updating a record or creating a new incident. It didn't really provide the employee and agent a great end user experience. But with mobile, to really keep your employees and agents engaged and retained, you really need to build a personalized app experience so that your end users can get the best possible experience done on the phone at any given point in time. And so over the past few releases, we really focused on how we can build a mobile platform that could provide consumer-grade mobile experiences. For the end user, how can we build beautiful, engaging, and easy-to-use interfaces that offers a modern UX and a clean, task-oriented focus? And as a result, our mobile apps, they're providing a self-service to the enterprises so that those end users would actually want to use our mobile apps from a day-to-day. And so when we talk about our mobile platform, we're really talking about three core things. First, you have the mobile clients, ServiceNow Agent, Now Mobile, and mobile onboarding. And these clients, they're just empty containers until you've downloaded one of our out-of-the-box workflows, right? So on the second layer, you have all the different mobile workflows that are available to use out of the box, such as Field Service Agent, ITSM Agent, Safe Workplace for Now Mobile, and so much more. And we'll cover that in just a bit. But these mobile workflows, they're ready to use, and it can be deployed immediately if it covers all the things that your end users need. Or if there's some custom work that needs to be done, you can then leverage your mobile platform's developer tools, capabilities, and components to tweak some of those workflows to your liking. And this is actually typically where majority of our new features will live, in that third layer there. It's the mobile capabilities that we're injecting to create better consumer-grade experiences, and the developer tools that we're giving to your admins and developers so it's easier for them to build those experiences. So let's keep that in mind as we kind of go through our overview for today. And let's go ahead and start off with our mobile clients that are available as of Quebec. So I'm sure that many of you are already familiar, but we're currently offering 3 mobile clients that are available in the public app stores on iOS and Google Play Store. You have the ServiceNow Agent client, which is built for the fulfiller. You have the Now Mobile client, which is built for the general employee. And then you have onboarding, which is built to onboard new hires. But besides the ServiceNow mobile clients that we have in the public app stores, we also provide public MAM wrap clients for Microsoft Intune and BlackBerry Dynamics. These are common MAM services that help customers manage their ServiceNow mobile apps, as well as being able to apply security control policies that their organizations may require. But beyond those public mobile clients and the MAM specific clients, the mobile platform also offers a premium licensed developer tool for mobile publishing. And this makes it easy for customers to be able to submit requests to build a complete custom and branded mobile client. We also allow customers to embed your MDM or MAM SDKs with it. And this mobile publishing experience, it automatically handles the distribution process for the customer in regards to the Apple Business Manager for iOS. If you have an Android users, we typically just give you the APK file, and then you can distribute it however you like. And within this whole process, the custom built mobile apps, they automatically also get security updates, as well as updates for new features when they get released. So those are all the mobile clients that are available as of Quebec. If you're looking to learn more about Mobile Publisher, we actually have a mobile publishing webinar that we're hosting. And Charlie Steiner can actually send that link in the chat if you're interested in learning more. So make sure to look out for that, and you can register and get the latest information around Mobile Publisher in Quebec. But again, our mobile clients, they're just empty containers unless you're using one of our out-of-the-box mobile workflows. One of the things I want to emphasize here is how customers can use our mobile clients out of the box without any configuration needed. We've worked across different business units to come up with these great pre-built experiences that customers can deploy without any additional work for mobile. You just need to install the plugin on your instance, the Now Mobile plugin, for example, and immediately your employees will be able to self-service their to-dos, catalog items, services, manage approvals, or maybe even look through KB articles. But on the other hand, if your out-of-the-box solution doesn't meet your end user's requirements, or maybe there's a few things that you want to tweak, then you can use our no low-code development tools on the Now platform to modify those workflows. And that will really save you time on your development effort. For example, you can leverage the out-of-the-box workflow for Safe Workplace, and you can use it exactly how we built it, or you can tweak it to meet your needs, such as modifying the fields, creating new actions, or even changing how your mobile app's landing page will look and feel like. And to customize those mobile workflows, or maybe even build new ones, you'll primarily be using our developer tools called Mobile Studio, as well as the Now Platform UI. And to put it simply, these tools, they'll provide you with the pre-built templates that you need to quickly create or customize mobile workflows so that you can define your data and then configure visualizations for those end users. When I mentioned the out-of-the-box Now Mobile plugin earlier, what I was referring to are actually these 3 bundled up plugins that you see in this box. So those would enable your requests, service catalogs, and knowledge, as well as assets immediately out of the box. And without downloading the Now Mobile plugin, your Now Mobile client just wouldn't have any data in it, so it wouldn't work. With all of that said, here's all of the other out-of-the-box mobile workflows that are available as of Quebec. So many of these I'm sure you're already familiar with. If you want to learn about any one of these in detail, you have the product docs, which you can learn more about. But just to highlight some of the new updates, some of the new stuff on the ServiceNow agent client, you have ITBM's project status report that's been updated. And then you also have ITSM mobile agent that was updated. And then on the Now Mobile client side, you have the ITBM mobile timesheets that was updated to take advantage of some of the more native capabilities, as well as ITSM welcome experience. A major call out that I want to point out here is you're going to start seeing a new pattern with some of these out-of-the-box workflows. They're no longer restricted to updating only on family releases, right? New York, Orlando, Paris, Quebec, and so forth. Since many of these mobile workflows are already being released through the ServiceNow store, these updates are actually taking place much more frequently, and sometimes even on a monthly basis. So it's actually pretty crucial that you stay up to date on some of these changes, which you can learn more about on the product docs. But we'll also use these type of webinars to share these updates as we see them as well, which you can stay up to date by following our mobile community site. So make sure to bookmark that mobile community site and so you can get the latest information. Okay, so that covers all of the out-of-the-box workflows that we've updated in Quebec, as well as some of the pre-existing ones that you can see here. Next, let's start moving into our core release features, all the mobile components, developer tools, and capabilities that are new in Quebec. So as we move into Quebec, there's going to be some more exciting features that we'll be covering. And to really bundle up Quebec's release and to summarize it, we could really break it down into 3 central themes. And it really boils down to the following. First, we're still heavily investing and improving our consumer-grade UX over time by introducing new features like AI search, the capability to have native timesheets, and even having the components to build native surveys. Second, we're focused on building out specialized experiences for different personas, and in Quebec, specifically for the agent persona. And we're really looking into ways to enable them to be more productive and make it easier for them to work on their mobile device. And then third, we're improving the overall admin and citizen developer persona by investing in the tools and enhancing our developer tools, such as Mobile Studio, so that it can be easier and faster to build your mobile apps on the mobile platform and without having to write any code whatsoever. Okay, and to start with the developer side, here's all the new features to improve our developer persona in Quebec. First, you have the mobile card builder. You also have card actions, which are 2 completely new developer tools. You also have action completion enhancements, mobile UI roles, new parameter screens, which will give developers a bit more flexibility on some of the things that they can control inside of Mobile Studio. And then you also have metadata refresh, user impersonation, and debug mode. And those will actually make it easier for your developers and admins to test the workflows as they build them out. So let's go ahead and start digging into some of these, starting with mobile card builder. So prior to Quebec, being able to create custom card patterns for your list applets was extremely painful because you had to manually edit the JSON on the back end. And it's quite a time-consuming process, and it actually requires you to know and learn JSON, right? And so Quebec, we introduced Mobile Card Builder, which is our new point-and-click tool, which will allow you to customize the templates and cards much easier without having to touch the JSON at all. and you're going to be able to use it anytime you create a new applet. It also allows real-time previewing while you edit, so you know exactly how it's going to look on your mobile app. And an important thing here to note, starting Quebec, is you're going to have to start using Mobile Card Builder as soon as you open up Mobile Studio. This is going to be a downloadable plugin from the ServiceNow store. So when you create new applets inside of Studio now, you won't just select our pre-built patterns and select the fields that you want. You'll first jump into Mobile Card Builder and then configure how you want that template to look. And you can move things around and kind of change up the pattern depending on how you want it to look. And if you're looking for more hands-on experience with this, we do have a lab for knowledge this year called Building Cards and Templates with Mobile Card Builder, Lab 2008. And if you're looking to learn more about that, Charlie will post a link to knowledge, which you can register for that lab. And if you don't get a chance to register during knowledge, this will also be available on Now Learning as an on-demand course. So you can definitely check that out as well. And this will all take place in May. I think it'll roll out to Now Learning sometime in June. And then we'll also post updates on mobile community as well, so you get the latest information on that. Next, we have card actions. So this is a very common request that we hear from customers, being able to execute actions at the tap of a button. But really, the only way to do that today is with a swipe or tapping on one of our top menu actions, which both are a bit difficult to discover, and there's a bit more of a longer time to action, right? And so we introduced card actions, which will allow you to put actionable buttons on top of your the cards themselves. And these buttons are fully customizable. They can either be an icon, such as a check mark for improve, or an X for a reject, or it could just be a simple text label, such as add to cart or add to comment. And these card actions can easily be configurable inside of Mobile Card Builder as well. Parameter screens. So this is a new feature in Quebec that will allow admins to configure how users input data. It replaces the old concept of UI parameters and item parameters in Studio with a newer look and feel that will be able to support more use cases, such as being able to build native surveys or being able to support date time fields, add attachments, and so much more. Mobile UI rules. So we introduced a new concept called mobile UI rules, which is also planning to replace UI styles as well as UI policies sometime in the upcoming releases. But with this first initial release, UI rules will allow you to do all the things that you can do with UI policies today. Things like set fields to hide and show, make them mandatory, or make fields read only. And you can also, with UI rules, you can also control things that you can do on your UI styles as well, like applying UI styles to UI elements. But what's really important with this feature is it's actually setting us in the right direction to support additional use cases, such as field value calculations. And although this can't support any client scripting use cases as of today in Quebec, it is something that we're looking to incorporating in the future. And so with your feedback on the idea portal, we're looking to how we can prioritize some of the major client scripting use cases in the future. So, if you have any major client scripting use cases, please feel free to share with us on the mobile community idea portal. And then our internal teams will be able to have further discussions on this. Okay. And then you have metadata refresh. So this is a feature that was highly requested by customers. And it was something that was quite painful for customers. Anytime the admin wanted to configure something on their client, end users would sometimes have to log out and log back in to refresh their mobile app. A common example of this is anytime you want to add a new navigation tab or configure a new push notification, both of those configurations would actually require the end user to log out and then log back in just to refresh their apps. But of course, that's something that's quite difficult to communicate out, especially when you're dealing with figuring out how to roll out those changes across your enterprise. And so we released metadata refresh in Quebec so that end users would be able to capture the latest changes on their apps simply by swiping down on their app launchers. So this change is something that should already be intuitive to the end user, similar to how people are already swiping down on homepages on some of their favorite consumer apps like Facebook or Twitter to reload their feed. It's going to be a similar behavior that you'll see on the ServiceNow mobile clients as well. And so hopefully it's a behavior that users should already be familiar with. Okay. Impersonate user. So this was also one of the most requested features on our mobile idea portal as well, with over 200 upvotes. So we knew that this was something that we had to prioritize. But prior to Quebec, admins would actually have to log out and then log back in with different user credentials to be able to test different roles and access privileges. But with user impersonation, we've made it easy for admins to be able to impersonate any user to test their roles and permissions without having to log out and log back in. And so it ends up saving the admin or developer a whole lot of time. And so that pretty much wraps up some of the new features and enhancements we made for the developer. Let's move on to the agent persona. So here are some of the new and exciting features we've introduced to optimize the fulfiller, starting with seamless deep linking. So in New York, we introduced deep linking, but it was a very limited experience in which you can only deep link into our ServiceNow mobile clients, which means, if I click a link in an email or a Slack somewhere, it can open up one of our ServiceNow mobile clients, and it'll take you directly to a list screen or a form screen. But if I wanted to deep link to any other third-party enterprise client, that wasn't really possible until Quebec. So if there's an enterprise mobile app that supports deep linking, such as Slack or Zoom or Microsoft Teams, you're actually now able to take users from our client directly to that third-party app at the tap of a button. And we're also supporting a passing of parameters. So for example, if you wanted to pass the incident record from your ServiceNow agent client, as well as the short description of that, from agent to the Microsoft Teams app, that's totally something that's possible in Quebec. The main limitation here to know about is on the receiving end. So if Microsoft Teams supports deep linking and it supports passing parameters, then it's something that our clients will be able to deep link into. So customers do need to research or investigate on the third-party client side to see if there's deep linking support. But of course, on our product docs, we'll definitely share out what are those common enterprise apps that you can deep link into. Next, you have Activity Stream 2.0. So we've revamped our Activity Stream UI and the latest client updates from the public app stores. So if you've updated your client recently from the app stores, you should actually already see this updated feature. The main change here is we've removed the floating action button and we've replaced it with an actionable bar. So there's now less taps to be able to add a comment or an attachment. And the experience now is going to be very similar in both iOS and Android. It's no longer going to have two different UIs, which made it confusing for customers to implement. But we've also introduced the ability to do app mentions, something that could be done on the platform, but we weren't able to do on mobile before. But when you do app mentions, we'll also send a notification to the end user that's mentioned in the activity stream. So agents can be on top of their alerts. Two things to note here. If you will need to configure a push notification to get app mentions working. So it's going to be a similar experience to the platform today. And then the second thing I want to mention here is app mentions is only supported on Quebec instances and beyond. Although you might be on like a Orlando or Paris release, and you might see the updated activity stream. But if you want app mention support, that's going to be for Quebec and beyond. Okay. Next is something we're calling saved views, or more commonly known to some of our old classic mobile users is favorites. Essentially, this is a new feature in Quebec that will allow end users to bookmark any screen that they want to list to view their favorite list of favorites so that they can quickly access it later. And then saved views, you can also save your filters that's being applied to some of the screens. So if there's any specific filters that the end user is frequently looking at, that's something that they can bookmark and pull up quickly next time. Your saved views, it can also be sorted by last view, last saved, and you can also sort it by alphabetically as well. And then you can also use it in offline mode as well. But an important thing to note here is customers who already have favorites on their desktop platform UI, or maybe they have some favorites on their classic mobile client. So those favorites, they're not automatically going to migrate over to your new mobile apps. Saved views is a completely new feature that was built specifically for the new mobile apps. And so end users should not expect to log in and already have their favorites saved, right? They're going to have to create new ones on our new mobile clients. Another call out here is saved views will initially work out of the box only for the ServiceNow agent client in Quebec, as that was one of the primary use cases used as favorites in Classic. But we'll continue to evolve it, and we'll have better support for now mobile in future releases. Okay. Incremental offline. So, we remain committed to building a world-class experience for fulfillers. And a consistent theme, if you've been following us since our first release of the mobile platform, is that with every release, we continue to add to our offline capabilities based on our customers' needs, especially in the areas of field service management. And so Quebec, we're actually furthering our offline capabilities with some of the following. So first, you have a more seamless offline experience where data and cache is downloading in the background. And you'll actually have system properties in which you'll be able to control the frequency on how that gets downloaded. This means that the end user won't constantly have to remember to manually download their offline cache anymore. And so their device is always kept up to date, and it'll be ready to enter offline mode at any given point in time. And so this will enable that fulfiller to seamlessly transition into offline mode, even if the internet connection were to be cut off abruptly. And so they'll be able to jump into offline without having to worry about manually downloading that cache. Okay, so that's incremental offline. Field service questionnaires. So this is a feature that's available out of the box for our field service mobile customers. So instead of pulling up web screens, the field service mobile team built an interactive and native survey flow that uses the new parameter screen capability in Quebec. For other workflows that leverage the surveys, I see those teams, they'll be picking up this feature in upcoming releases. But until then, if you have any additional native survey use cases that are needed, we would recommend that you open up an idea in the idea portal. And then our internal teams will have further discussions on those as well. Native mobile knowledge. So with native KBs, we're now supporting rich formatting and media so that KBs are much easier to interact with. You can now watch videos, add comments to KBs, or even rate the articles if you want with the tap of a button. And then KBs also are supported in offline as well. That was something that wasn't supported prior. So if an agent had to enter a remote site without any internet connectivity, they'll still have access to their KB articles. Also, something to point out here is native mobile KBs. They're built out of the box on the field service mobile app for the ServiceNow agent client, right? So that's the field service mobile plugin. But for any other workflow at the moment, they haven't quite taken up the native mobile KBs quite yet. But it is something that you can configure yourself, and it's documented on product docs. But similar to field service questionnaires, it's likely other mobile teams will adopt this new feature in upcoming releases. And if you have any specific native KB use cases that you'd want to see in out-of-the-box experience, then please share through the idea portal. Okay, so now moving into the features and enhancements for the employee persona, starting with AI search. So some of you may know we've acquired a company called Ativio, I think a year back, and it's a cognitive search platform. And we've integrated with them to deliver a consumer-grade search experience from search to resolve. And what we mean by that is end users, they'll now be able to ask a question and get an answer on the Now platform, and it'll filter out all the irrelevant details and return the most important information that you'd want through your search queries. And it's going to be much faster and smarter. Before, mobile was just doing a keyword search that was powered by Zing, which is our old technology for search. And it was likely just pulling up every document based on that keyword. But with the Ativio integration, we're creating more of a human-like search experience that's powered by NLU. And so your search experience is going to be improved by delivering relevant and personalized results to each and every one of those end users. And they'll also be able to act directly on that search window result. So, you'll be able to tap a button to email someone if you were to look up a person, or, request an item if you were to look up some sort of asset. Okay. We're also injecting it with auto completion and auto correction as well. And I do want to call out that this experience is going to be limited to the Now mobile client only as of Quebec. And you'll only have access to 3 search sources, which is people, services, and articles. But we are looking to expanding that in future releases. So maybe sometime in the future, we'll be able to support AI search on ServiceNow agent client, and you'll be able to create your own custom tables in future releases. The last thing I do want to note about AI search is this is actually our first step in aligning mobile with Service Portal. So on Portal, it's going to be a one-stop shop where if you configure AI search, it will work for both Portal and Now mobile. So you won't have to configure it twice as 2 different experiences. Okay. Mobile timesheets. So this is an out-of-the-box experience that's available for the ITVM customer on Now Mobile. And this is an experience for employees to be able to easily log in time by creating new timesheets or a copy from previous ones. And for the manager persona, you'll be able to review those timesheets as well as edit, approve, or reject them. And to clarify, we didn't create a new template on Mobile Studio called Mobile Timesheets, but rather this is an out-of-the-box workflow that our internal teams built from scratch, and it's available to download as a plugin. If there's any additional use cases or enhancements that you'd like to timesheets, we'd recommend that you share it through Idea Portal on mobile community. Okay, I will skip dynamic segment form just to cover it here instead. But so these are a bunch of other minor features and enhancements that we rolled out into Quebec. Many of these are for the developer and admin. So you have action completion enhancements, which will allow admins to control how users get redirected upon the creation of a new record. You have empty state handling, which are configurable message screens for end users when there's no data or records to show. You also have hide to all, which is it will allow you to remove the see all button on the item UI section. You also have a make a copy feature, which is available in Mobile Studio. It'll actually save the developer a whole lot of time if you have to create a lot of similar applets. It'll allow you to create duplicate records of different mobile components, such as a list applet. And it won't just create an empty shell of a list applet. It'll actually copy the data item as well as the functions that live inside of the applet as well. So that's quite useful. There's also debug mode, which is a debug drawer that admins can use to monitor their app performance. You also have Siri shortcut enhancements, which we are now supporting open virtual agent shortcut on the ServiceNow agent client in Quebec. So I think we've had questions before, are we supporting any Siri shortcuts on the ServiceNow agent client? Right now, we're only supporting one of them, which is open virtual agent. I think on the Now Mobile client side, you also have shortcuts to open up your requests and catalog items and things like that. But those things don't apply out of the box to ServiceNow agent client. And so we only brought in the virtual agent shortcut. Okay. And then we also made some Mobile Studio enhancements. A major one to remember here is that, Mobile Studio is now going to require you to install the mobile card builder plugin in Quebec. And it's the new way to build applets. And it has a completely new interface. And again, we have a K21 lab that's coming in the next month that will kind of walk you through some of that guidance and best practices. Okay. And then lastly, we have the dynamic segment form. And this was just a minor feature that was leveraged by the ITVM team to create their native timesheets. This is the main use case for that feature at this time, but we're looking into expanding upon it in the future. If there's anything that you want to learn more about, we'd recommend checking out the product docs for Quebec features, which Charlie, please go ahead and share that link in the chat as well. And that wraps up our Quebec overview for all of our clients, workflows, and developer tools, as well as mobile components that are available as of today.